departed from the land of Canaan, and they came to the land of Canaan. And Abram passed through the land to the place of Shechem, as far as the terebinth tree of Morah. At that time the Canaanites were in the land. And Yahweh appeared to Abram and said, to your seed I give this land. And he built there an altar to Yahweh, who had appeared to him. And from there he moved to the mountain east of Bethel, and pitched his tent with Bethel on the west and Ai on his east. And he built there an altar to Yahweh and called on the name of Yahweh. And Abram departed, continuing toward the Negev. And the scarcity of food came to be in the land, and Abram went down to Mizraim to dwell there, for the scarcity of food was severe in the land. And it came to be, when he was close to entering Mizraim, that he said to Sarai his wife, see, I know that you are a lovely woman to look at. And it shall be, when the Mizraimites see you, that they shall say, this is his wife, and they shall kill me, but let you live. Please say you are my sister, so that it is well with me and your sake, for your sake. And my life be spared because of you. And it came to be, when Abram came to Mizraim, that the Mizraimites saw the woman, that she was very lovely. And Pharaoh's officials saw her and praised her before Pharaoh, and the woman was taken to Pharaoh's house. And he treated Abram well for her sake, and he had sheep and cattle and male donkeys and male and female servants and male and female donkeys and camels. And Yahweh plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. And Pharaoh called Abram and said, what is this you have done to me? Why did you not inform me that she was your wife? Why did you say she is my sister? And so I was going to take her for my wife. Look, here is your wife. Take her and go. And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away, and his wife, and all that he had.
She was his half sister.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm not really lying, just half lying.
What? Is that really?
Yeah.
No, it still wasn't right. But yeah, it was his half sister.
Yeah.
Sarah is Abraham's half sister.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's proof that the father protects the seed during those times.
wow. Where do you find that at? I missed it.
Good question. I have a note in my Bible.
Okay.
I think you go back a couple
look.
chapters.
Yeah.
I think so.
So, I got a question. How long did the plagues last? I think I know the answer to it. Throwing that out.
Oh, in that one.
What place are we talking about?
Right
Are we
there.
talking about right here?
Verse 17.
Yes. But the
Uses
plague
it.
of Pharaoh and his house, a great plague because Sarah, Abram's wife. It doesn't say.
A lot of them say the time.
Huh?
Some of them say
Oh,
the
here
time.
we are. Kind of plague from the house.
This one doesn't.
This might.
He'll say the plague will be for so many years, 7
No.
years. Or,
I think it's 7 years. I don't.
They didn't have children then.
I thought I read it somewhere, maybe in Jubilees or something.
Actually,
Well, I got a question for you. Could the animals talk when Adam gave them their name?
I think they talked their language, but it was understood by
Adam knew it, and they
Yeah.
talked to Adam.
Right.
I think so.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
The serpent talked.
Right. And
Yeah.
there's no strange account. Oh,
Yeah.
what's
Yep.
going on here?
Wow.
Serpent
That would
that's
be
speaking.
actually more scientifically possible, actually. Because if
He was the original Dr. Doolittle.
That was funny.
anything's possible.
Mhm.
heard a theory that they think Adam was really large, like a giant. It's just a theory.
I've heard the theory too.
Yeah.
I've not heard it
His hand was like this
talked
big.
much.
Yeah.
I mean, because age difference does make a difference in like dogs, since they're shorter than us. They live less. But since we are like bigger than them, we have more life. Time is more longer for them, and it's shorter for us. Math computes.
Or like a fly that only lives like 24 hours.
But it probably feels like 100 years.
That's true. I think there's potential for that.
I mean, we're like slow motion.
I think it's interesting. We have two situations with Abram or Abraham going down to Egypt, and this being the first one. And he is recorded in Genesis 12:4. 12:4. It says, so Abram left as Yahuwah had commanded him, and Lot went with him, and Abram was 75 years old when he set out from Haran. So he's at least 75 when he gets to Egypt, and Sarai is only 9 years younger than him. So she's like 66 at this point, at least. And she's taken in, and he says, I think it's in this account too, like he says, of your beauty. I know it's at least in one of them, and I was trying to think. Yeah, in 11. See, I know that you are a beautiful woman to look at. And it shall be when the Mitzrites see you that they shall say, this is his wife. They shall kill me, but let you live. And so I think it's just interesting that this is only the first. And it's like the same situation that happens in a few chapters also. And they're like a whole bunch older. Not say a whole bunch, but she's like 90 at the next point. Or 85 or something. But it's the same of like, hey, let's kind of try to conceal you, or, make this not bad for me, that they're going to kill me because you're so beautiful. And at this point, she's 66. So let that be known that, they lived a little bit longer, but still, that age is not always, your beauty doesn't diminish with age. If the spirit is within you, then that spirit is going to make you, beautiful and desirable. And so that's really, I remember even, this is kind of off topic, but I remember even like in high school, either liking a guy or not liking a guy, and depending on their character or the spirit within them, it turned, like they were either not attractive, but they had God's spirit, so they became attractive, or vice versa. You're like, oh, the cutest thing. But then you learn their character and you're like, oh, okay, nope, you're not even attractive anymore. Because that's what the Father does with us, I think. Because that's more desirable for at least people following the Father. You want someone that's following the Father. It's desirable as opposed to just wanting the flesh. So, not that the Egyptians probably, but she was still beautiful to them. Yeah. That she was still beautiful to them. Or that maybe Abram saw her as so beautiful with that, So, just neat. Sweet.
Yes.
And I believe when you meet somebody that the Father has for you, you think they are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't care what other people think they look like.
Oh yeah.
You're-
To you, they will be beautiful.
They're your mate.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I think that's great.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure.
I have one more touch on Lance's question. I don't have my Jubilees copy with me to see if it's in there. But we would at least have to know or surmise that the plague had to be some chunk of time for them to realize none of the women were conceiving. This wasn't just like a matter of days or even probably a couple of months. Like this was a chunk of time to say something strange is happening here. It's not just, a few months have gone by and the women aren't getting pregnant. It's like, most likely some sort of chunk of time, and maybe Jubilees does give a specific, like you were thinking 7 years or something, but to where it's long enough for them to realize something is amiss.
Well, I think the plague where they didn't get pregnant is in the next.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's
Gosh,
not in
I'm
this
sorry
one.
if I was half.
Yeah, it's not in this one.
So it was something
Okay,
else,
sorry.
maybe?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's in the later one.
Thanks for that.
All right, chapter 13. And Abram went up from Misraim to the Negev, he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with him. And Abram was very rich in livestock, in silver, and in gold. And he went on his journey from the Negev as far as Bethel, to the place where his tent had been at the beginning between Bethel and Ai, to the place of the altar which he had made there at first. And there Abraham called on the name of Yahweh. Now Lot, who went with Abram, also had flocks and herds and tents, and the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their possessions were great, so that they could not dwell together. And there was strife between the herdsmen of Abram's stock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock. And at that time the Canaanites and the Perizzites dwelt in the land. Then Abram said to Lot, please let there be no strife between you and me, and between the herdsmen and my herdsmen and your herdsmen, for we are brothers. Is not all that your land before you? Please separate from me. If you take the left, I will go to the right, or if you go to the right, I will go to the left. And Lot lifted his eyes and saw the plain of the Jordan, and it was well watered everywhere, before Yahweh destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, and like the garden of Yahweh, like the land of the Misraim, as you go toward Zor. So Lot chose for himself all the plain of the Jordan, and Lot moved east. Thus they separated from each other, Abram dwelling in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelling in the cities of the plain and pitched his tent as far as Sodom. And the men of Sodom were evil and sinned before Yahweh exceedingly so. And after Lot had separated from him, Yahweh said to Abram, go lift your eyes and look from this place where you are, northward, southward, and eastward, and westward. For all the land which you see I shall give you, and your seed forever. And I shall make your seed as the dust of the earth, so that a man could not count the dust of the earth, then your seed could not be counted. Arise, walk in the land through its length and its width, for I give it to you. So Abram moved his tent and went and dwelt by the terebinth trees of the Mamre, which are at Hebron, and built an altar there to Yahweh. So here we see that Abram's offering Lot a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Either take the land to the right or to the left. And he gave that choice to Lot, and Abraham was going to be satisfied with what was left over. So Lot looks and he sees all the green, lush pastures down in the valley. And so that's what he chose. But if there's lush pastures down the valley, but in battle, you don't want to be in the valley. You want to be high up on the mountaintops. And if you're down in the valley, you can't see around you either. Where Yahweh showed Abram all the lands around the valley from the top of the mountain, that would be his. Just like he showed Moses all the land that they was inheriting. Yet he did not cross over. But it's on the mountaintop where you can see the best. When your eyes are open.
Hallelujah.
So is that on the right or the left, the mountaintop?
Yes.
Well, I thought I heard you say it right a minute ago.
Well, it was as far as the
It does
east,
keep
the
it.
west, the north, the south.
Pardon me? I didn't hear you.
All four corners, all directions. He said that in 7 and 14.
Yeah.
14. Now lift up your eyes and see from the place where you are northward, southward, and eastward and westward.
From the place.
But it doesn't say from where they was standing to what he offered to Lot. We just know that Lot took the valley and the mountains was left to Abram.
Read all the Civil War battles. That he wanted to be first to grab that land high.
The high land.
Yes.
Island.
It's a better standpoint. If we're
Plus, you could go down to them, they had to come up to you, so
Right.
they
Yeah,
were tired by the time they
and-
got up there.
You know, I went through battle skills when I was in the army, and to take a hill, just to take a hill, it took 2/3 more men to take a hill than that was on top of the hill.
Wow.
That's definitely
Twice the work.
Right. Your
I can't hear
body's
some of
different.
you guys are gonna have to use
Timing
your.
and-
Can you guys use your microphones? Can't hear some of you.
Because of gravity.
It probably took twice the power to go up the hill to fight.
Right.
It was easier coming down the hill to fight because he was always ready and it was easy.
Well, and on top of the hill, you're dug in.
Right.
You're dug in. You're fortified.
Yeah.
To go up, you're open. You're trying to make your way up.
We don't have to move. We're on top of the hill.
It's easier to shoot your rifle downhill too because you're relaxed.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Body different. Right.
what is that?
And-
Shooting uphill, you have to support yourself and you have to.
Plus, if you shoot
He's just
uphill,
talking.
it would be the recoil would send you down the hill because you would need to have support. The support
Yeah.
of the hill wouldn't support, and also if you have leather that you're wearing for armor, or if you're wearing like armor or something like that, you will grow very tired,
All that weight.
and you're an easy target. So Abraham had it.
So Lot took the valley. So Lot
Yeah,
took the
yeah.
valley.
This year I can't hear.
It's okay, I can't see out of this eye.
I was looking at the maps over on the wall and the one in the back of my scriptures. And so it was just because I was curious, other than, like, we don't really know exactly where they were, again, when this conversation is being had. But we know that Lot went and at least was near or around Sodom and Gomorrah. And so that, at least where they place it, is down at like the bottom of the Dead Sea. So it's really far south in that whole area. So if that would be that, again, who knows which way they were looking, left, right, all of that. But it seems like Lot probably went south and was kind of on the skirts of the land that's given to Israel later. And so from whatever vantage point, more mid or north maybe, is where Abram, yeah, it's still Abram here, where Abram was. But I was just curious, since we at least know Lot was around Sodom and Gomorrah, it's a little more south in that area.
And then Abraham tells Lot, you choose. Lot couldn't come back to him later and say, well, you gave me the crap land.
That's true.
Exactly right.
Wow.
You chose this.
And also down in the valley, that's where everybody else chose to be too, where it was nice and lush, Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yep.
And Zor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same area.
Because it's good for grazing. And that's where all the water flows downhill. Nice springs.
It's better to have both.
Yes.
There you go. That's true.
But if you had the choice,
Yeah, yeah.
choose the high ground.
Choose the high ground. Doesn't Caleb take the high ground?
All right, chapter 14. And it came to be in the days of Amphrael, sovereign of Shinar, Arioch, sovereign of Eleazar, Kedorla, Kedor Amor, sovereign of Elam, and Zidel, sovereign of Goyim, that they fought against Bera, sovereign of Saddam, Beersheba, sovereign of Amorah, Shinab, sovereign of Admah, Shimber, sovereign of Zeboim, and the sovereign of Bela, that is Zor. All these joined together in the valley of Siddim, that is the Salt Sea. 12 years they served Lamor, and in the 13th year they rebelled, and in the 14th year Lamor and the sovereigns that were with him came to smote Rephaim and Ashtaroth, Wamayam, and Zazum in Ham, and the Emites in Shawal, Kuryath Hatham, Yam, and the Horites in the mountains of the Seir, as far as El Paran, that is by the wilderness. And they turned back and came to En Mesphat, that is Qodesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites who dwelt in Hatzim Tamar, and the sovereign of Saddam, and the sovereign of Amorah, and the sovereign of Admah, and the sovereign of Zeboim, and the sovereign of Bela, that is Zor, went out and joined together in battle in the valley of Siddim against Kedorlaomer, sovereign of Ilium, and Tidal, sovereign of Goyim, and Amphrael, sovereign of Shinar, and Arioch, sovereign of Elsar, 4 sovereigns against 5. And the valley of Siddim had many tar pits, and the sovereigns of Siddim and Amorah, Saddam and Amorah fled and fell there, and the remainder fled to the mountains. And they took all the goods of Sodom and Amorah and all their food and went away. And they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Siddim, and his goods and left. The one who had escaped came and informed Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt by the terebinth trees in Merom, and the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, brother of Anar, and they had a covenant with Abram. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his 318 trained servants who were born in his own house, and went in pursuit as far as Dan. And he and his servants divided against them by night, and smote them, and pursued them as far as Hobah, which is on the left of Damascus. So he brought back all the goods, and also brought back his brother Lot and his goods, and as well as the women and the people. And after his return from the defeat of Kedorlaomer and the sovereigns who were with him, the sovereigns of Saddam came out to meet him in the valley of Shawal, that is the sovereign's valley. And Melchizedek, sovereign of Shalem, brought out bread and wine. Now he was the Cohen of the Most High Sovereign. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High, El, possessor of the heavens and the earth, and blessed be the Most High Sovereign who has delivered your enemies to your hands, and he give him a tenth of all. And the sovereign of Sodom said to Abram, give me the people and take the goods for yourself. But Abram said to the sovereign of Sodom, I have lifted my hand to Yahweh, the Most High Sovereign, the possessor of the heavens and the earth, not to take a thread of your sandal strap or whatever is yours, lest you should say, I have made Abram rich, except only what the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men who went with me, Anar, Eshcol, and Mamre, there to take their portion.
I got a question, verse 1, 14. I have a note in my Bible. It says Shinar was Babylon. Can anybody verify?
Yes,
that?
it is. Okay. Shinar was Babylon. Yep, the land of Shinar is where they built the tower. So here we got 5 kings going against 4 kings, and they get defeated. And Abram is told about this, so he arms his 318 men that was born in his household, or in other words, in his camp. And he went and he pursued them. And the Father gave him victory over the 5 kings. And he brought Lot and all the people back. And on the way back, he meets up with Melchizedek, which is priest, the Cohen of Salem, which is Jerusalem later. But at this point, it's just Shalem. And he is if you read in the book of Jasher, this is actually Shem, the son of Noah.
I have that note.
Yes. And so he's acting with Abram. And the book of Jasher also says that Abram sat under the teaching of Shem for 40 years. And as a matter of fact, Abram went to Shem's house when he was just a baby. Because who's the great hunter?
Nimrod.
Nimrod.
But he's
Thank
not
you.
a great hunter. He's a hunter of cells.
Nimrod was after him to kill him
Oh,
because
see?
of what his priests or his prophets had said or prophesied over Abram. So he wanted to kill him.
Oh, wow.
So,
Seed killed men.
So anyway, so there's a lot of backstory here, but the Father blessed Abraham in retrieving these souls, these people back with just 318 men. So it doesn't matter how big your army is. It matters whose side the Father is on. When the Father's on your side, yeah. And how many times it say in the Word that the Father fights for you?
Yes, yes.
You don't have to fight. The Father fights for you. In Proverbs, if it talks about letting the Father avenge you. Don't avenge yourself. When you avenge yourself, you're taking the Father out of the picture. You just step back and the Father will deliver you. Now, sometimes you're thinking, when is this deliverance going to come? But He will deliver you if you keep yourself out of the picture. and let him do the work.
It's a good word.
Yeah, just look at Joshua. Read Joshua.
Oh, yeah.
All the kingdoms he slew. And he started off with a little bit of trouble and got that straightened out. And then he just took everything over.
Or King David slaying Goliath.
Anybody else?
Oh, I'm gonna say something. So this is one of the verses I say quite often, but it's Deuteronomy 20 and 1-4. And so when you go out to battle against your enemies and shall see horses and chariots and people more numerous than you, do not be afraid of them. For Yahweh, your Almighty Sovereign, who brought you up from the land of Mizraim, is with you. And it shall be when you draw near to the battle that the priest shall come and speak to the people and shall say to them, Hear, O Israel, you are drawing near today to battle with your enemies. Do not let your heart faint. Do not fear or tremble or be afraid before them. For Yahweh, your Almighty Sovereign, is he who goes with you to fight for you against your enemies to save you.
Hallelujah.
That's what Craig said.
Yep.
He'll fight for you.
That's true, but you got to be in his will.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I agree with
If you're
that.
not in his will, you're in trouble.
Yeah, if you got open doors, holes in your fence, not good. Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to make sure you're clean.
Yeah. Make sure you're clean. I'll write that note down too.
There's always that if.
Well, that is so true. I'm glad you added that because that is true. Make sure you're clean and your gate is fixed. And your boats don't have any holes in them.
All right, 15. And after these events, the word of Yahweh came to Abram in a vision, saying, Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield. Your reward is exceedingly great. And Abram said, Master Yahweh, what would you give me, seeing I go childless, and the heir of my house is Eleazar of Damascus?
I don't know.
And Abram said, See, you have given me no seed, and see, one born in my house is my heir. And see, the word of Yahweh came to him, saying, This one is not your heir, but he who comes from your own body is your heir. And he brought him outside and said, Look now toward the heavens, and count the stars if you are able to count them. And he said to him, So are your seed. And he believed in Yahweh, and he reckoned it to him for righteousness. And he said to him, I am Yahweh, who brought you out of Kasdim to give you this land to inherit it. And he said, Master Yahweh, whereby do I know that I possess it? And he said to him, Bring me a 3-year-old heifer, a 3-year-old female goat, a 3-year-old ram, a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took all these to him and cut them in the middle and placed each half opposite the other, but he did not cut the birds. And the birds of prey came down on the carcasses, and Abram drove them away. And it came to be when the sun was going down, and a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and see, a frightening great darkness fell upon him. And he said to Abram, Know for certain that your seed are to be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. But the nation whom they serve I am going to judge, and afterward let them come out with great possessions. Now as far for you, you are to go to be to your fathers in peace. You are to be buried at a good old age. Then in the 4th generation they shall return here, for the wickedness of the Amorites is not come yet. And it came to be when the sun went down and it was dark, and see a smoking oven and a burning torch passing between those pieces. And the same day Yahweh made a covenant with Abram, saying, I have given this land to your seed, from the river of Mistream to the great river of Perath, with the Quainite and the Kizanite and the Quedamite and the Hittite and the Pezerite and the Rephaim and the Amorite and the Canaanite and the Girgashite and the Jebusite. So here we see that the Father made a covenant with Abram to give him the land, his seed the land. And he let him know that he was going to be, or that they was going to be slaves in Mizraim, a land not of their own. But when they left that land, they were going to have great possessions. And when they left, they had great possession because everybody was giving them everything they give them just to get them to get out of here. Just take it and go. So, and then the Father used this to build his tabernacle with.
Yeah, hallelujah.
Was that?
You want to say that, Paul? What was it?
Yes.
Good and bad.
Also, they were the sons of Cain. Some of them were the sons of Cain, aren't they?
Yes, they are. That's who settled in that area. They weren't supposed to settle in that area, but they did settle in that area.
I think it was the sons of Ham, though.
Who was?
These guys.
Yes.
Some of them.
Not Cain.
First one, the Canaanites.
Yeah.
But
Or-
that's
They're the sons.
The son of Cain. Son of Cain.
Cain is the son of Ham.
Canaan is the
Oh,
son of
Cain.
Ham.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cain.
And that's where Canaanite comes from.
Right,
Not
right.
Cain, C-A-I-N.
Like her last
Canaan's, yeah, not
Yeah,
mine.
not
Not my name.
Not like Cain and Abel.
Not that Cain, yeah,
Right.
not Cain
Right.
and Abel there. But C-A-N A-A-N, which
Right, that makes sense.
we read later in the genealogy, or earlier, sorry, in the genealogy. That
Came
is
back
his
down in
son.
21.
Canaan.
Yeah, Canaanite.
Canaanite.
Yeah, and Jubilees really gives great detail. I really like Jubilees' addition into this because it tells us that this is not the land that was given to Ham and Canaan. And so it was the Western Africa area was given to Ham and
Yes.
Canaan. And Mitzrayim, which is Egypt, Push, I think, Put and Cush and was there one more? Maybe just the three of those. And those are all, African nations. We know Egypt really well. Cush is also like Ethiopia. I'm not sure where exactly Put is, but that's also where Canaan was supposed to be. And Jubilees tells us that Canaan went and, do you have Put in that? No, he said, oh, okay, so it's like northwest of Egypt. It looks like Put is a little more northwest. So anyway, and Canaan was supposed to be in that land. He was, and they took oaths under Noah to settle the land that was allotted to them. But Canaan, the son of Ham, went and took Shem's land in what is modern day Israel area. And then most of these are his sons. When you go back to the genealogy, I think there's a couple that aren't, but most of those are Canaan's sons and their people.
The bad
Are the bad guys because they broke the oath and they stole Shem's land. But I think it's kind of also interesting that when I think it's in the very end. No, it's on 18. When Yahuwah made the covenant with Abram, saying, "I have given this land to your seed from the river of Mitzrayim, which assumably is the Nile, to the great river, the river Euphrates, which is quite east. That is a much larger area than
Yes.
modern day Israel,
Yes.
like the nation of Israel today. And even the land that was settled by Joshua is not that big, I don't think. So, I mean, it's the land allotted. We've got the little maps on the wall, but like the land allotted, I think, is all the Sinai Peninsula. I mean, because the Nile's west. And so, like, and then it goes really far east into whatever the modern countries are there, Jordan or something. Like, so it's a huge area of land recorded there in that. So I think that's just interesting.
And we do see that Shem is in Salem,
Yeah.
which is Jerusalem. So he's where he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But in this here covenant, it says the Amorites had not come into their full.
Right.
So they haven't taken all that land and at that time, or right here at this time. And also this 400 years starts at this time. Because they wasn't in Mitzrayim no 400 years.
Yeah. Right.
But that 400 years actually starts at this covenant.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes what throws people off. And I agree with that. I think when you're talking about verse 16, and it says, then in the fourth generation they shall return here, for the crookedness of the Amorites is not yet complete. That, I mean, it wasn't just a bloodline thing. They were sinning. The Amorites were sinning, and that's why Yah throws them out. He gives everyone the opportunity for salvation. He gives everyone the opportunity to know him, to choose him. And the Amorites and those others that are there, but 16 specifically says Amorites, the crookedness or the sin, their transgression is not yet complete. And so it's not, and we were reading in Deuteronomy and at camp, several times. It's not because of your righteousness, Israel, that I'm giving this to you, because you've sinned as much as they have. And the warning to us that the land will vomit us out. I mean, it's given to Israel, the land will vomit you out if you do what they did.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's every single person has that choice. And every nation, collective, community, but in every layer, we have that choice to follow Yah or not. And again, it's not just the bloodline of them, they're kicked out. It's that they are sinning. They are breaking the covenant. They are breaking the oath from back in Noah's time and more.
I have a question. Do you think that Babylon is a salvation issue? Like, do you think that, like, the people out there who are celebrating Halloween, that stuff, do you think it's a salvation issue?
If you celebrate Halloween,
Like, yeah, I mean, I know that
you're worshiping the devil.
like Christmas, Easter,
That's an abomination against the
that's what I think, yeah.
Thank you for answering that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
It's
because
all an abomination.
yeah.
Stay
You
away
need your
from it.
microphone.
Well, I mean, he drew me out of that, and I wonder, like, as I was being drawn out of it, I'm like, why isn't this happening to everybody? Like, why isn't all believers, like, what? So,
Path is narrow.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's an abomination. If you have a welcome mat in the front of your house, get rid of it. Yeah, you're welcoming everything that the world into your house. That's how serious it is.
Yeah, I got the commandments on my
You just go add Yahweh. Welcome Yahweh.
Yeah, I actually that. It's funny that you say that because I have a neighbor, and I did not know. It was kind of down the road, but I went to their house and it said wizards are welcome here on their plate on their mat. So I mean, it's no small thing just to say welcome. Yeah, and everything should have a name. Yeah. I mean, that doesn't have a name. Anybody, welcome. Come on. I mean, it's not bad if you're trying. If Yahweh's drawing them, witness to them, I guess. But other than that, don't invite everything into your house. You have borders.
Yeah, and also as we move forward, as the world moves on, there's gonna be demons looking for places to go, and that's where they're gonna be looking. They're gonna be looking for anything.
Open doors.
If you celebrate Halloween, that's a doorway. It's an open doorway. Come in. That's what it says. Don't do it. You gotta rebuke all that stuff.
For sure.
I mean, should we say part of law that nobody, it's a salvation issue?
Oh, that's some discussion.
Okay, yeah.
It's still
I don't
muted.
know. Oh, okay. I mean, if a person doesn't know, I think that's a different thing. You know, like if they're, I mean, this kind of goes with the name thing that we were talking about over if they die for Yeshua, they just know Jesus, then that pretty well says it. If they never heard it. Now, if they've heard it and they're being rebellious, then no, I think that in salvation it says, master, did we not say, Master, we cast out demons in your name and we healed all of these people, and will he not say to me, depart from me, you lawless one? So, I mean, it also is a salvation issue when you look at that verse alone. So, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't just, Yahweh is the judge. Well, I'm thankful for that. But that verse would definitely we would definitely call it a salvation issue right there because they're being lawless.
We need to pray that their eyes and ears are open.
Like
Yes.
Michelle said, we need to pray that their eyes and ears are open. And I agree. We got our eyes open. Thank you, Father. It's not by our cunning. Thank you, Yahweh, for helping us.
Kenny and Melissa, or at least Kenny, is up on the live stream, and so he was bringing in when we were talking about Melchizedek, and Jasher, I think, is what records him and being Shem. He was bringing in Hebrews 7, 1 through 3. Let me tag it over here. So this says, Hebrews 7, starting in 1, for this Melchizedek, sovereign of Salem, priest of the Most High Elohim, who met Abraham returning from the altar of the slaughter of the kings, and blessed him, to whom also Abraham gave a tenth part of all, his name being translated indeed first King of righteousness, and then also King of Salem, that is, King of peace, without father, without mother, without genealogy, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but having been made like the Son of Elohim, remains a priest for all time. So, I've heard that discussion. The belief that Melchizedek, I'm not going to speak for Kenny here, but the belief that Melchizedek was just a supernatural being, that I think that because with Hebrews 7:3 saying without father, without mother, without genealogy, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, or that he was something else. I don't know if it's like a Yahusha pre-incarnate. I think there's different theories out there. I tend to not agree with those. I think that the Hebrews 7:3 is meaning something deeper than just physically he has no father, mother, without genealogy. But definitely there are different understandings and different perspectives of that. And again, what books you do hold to. I think Jasher and Craig left out, but I think it's Jasher that talks about it being Shem, and I think that might be the only one. But there is definitely some debate or discussion that you can have on if Melchizedek was a just human physical being, whether Shem or whether someone else as priest of the Most High, or if he was something else. Kenny, you should be here to give your whole thing, is what I'll say. No, I'm just kidding, but you can input next time you jump in here live for a little more just discussion, so that I'm not speaking for you and such there. But it's a good conversation, I think, to have. It's one many people do in this walk, studying through that.
Well, now the The son carries that role, isn't it? He's the high priest.
He is high priest, for sure. Though it never says anything about.
Yes, he is high priest, most definitely. Though it never says anything about Melchizedek being high priest. It just says he is a priest unto the Most High El. Let's see. Yeah, I get that, Melissa. Okay.
What'd she say?
She just said some exposure. They're staying home. Chickenpox exposure potential. So they're home for that. Hopefully, just
I hope you feel better.
waiting the time out. Hopefully, I have not touched base with them.
Pray
So.
for healing.
Indeed, praying for healing touch there.
You're missed.
Yes, you were missed.
You ready for 16?
I think so.
Alright.
Oh,
And Sarai, Abram's wife, had borne him no child, and she had a Mizraite female servant whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said to Abram, "See, Yahweh has kept me from bearing children. Please go into my female servant. It might be that I am built up by her." And Abram listened to the voice of Sarai. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her female servant, the Mizraite, and gave her to her husband, Abram, to be his wife, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan. And when he went into Hagar, and she conceived, and when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said to Abram, "My wrong be upon you. I gave my female servant into your bosom, and when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. Let Yahweh judge between you and me." And Abram said to Sarai, "See, your female servant is in your hand. Do to her what is good in your eyes." And Sarai treated her harshly, and she fled from her presence. And the messenger of Yahweh found her by the spring of water in the wilderness, by the spring on the way to Shur. And he said, "Hagar, Sarai's female servant, where have you come from, and where are you going?" And she said, "I am fleeing from the presence of Sarai, my mistress." And the messenger of Yahweh said to her, "Return to your mistress and humble yourself under her hand." And the messenger of Yahweh said to her, "I am going to increase your seed greatly, too numerous to be counted." And the messenger of Yahweh said to her, "See, you are conceiving and bearing a son. You shall call his name Ishmael, because Yahweh has heard your affliction. And he is to be a wild man, his hand against everyone, and everyone's hand against him, and dwell over against all his brothers." And she called the name of Yahweh who spoke to her, "You are the sovereign who sees." For she says, "Even there I have seen after him who sees me." That is why the well is called Ber Lahoi Roy. See, it is between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram called the name of his son, whom Hagar bore, Ishmael. And Abraham was 86 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Abram. So here we see that Sarai is impatient, and she thinks, I got Hagar here, and maybe the father wants to use her to give Abram seed, and it would be as my son or my.
Mhm.
So and of course, Abram doesn't have any objection to it at all. As a matter of fact, he's probably fairly pleased with it. I don't know.
Agreed.
But he did listen to Sarai. Now there's times when the father says, listen to your wife. But should have some common sense on whether to listen to her at all times.
Right, right. 'Cause
There are
sometimes-
times when you need to listen to her, and there's times when you need to be the man and say that it stops here. The buck stops here.
Right.
It's
right.
my responsibility. It is on me.
True, true.
Yep.
Yeah. It works both ways, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't really want to say this because I don't want to judge, but isn't that adultery? That situation or the handmaid was part of him too or something?
No, because I don't think it's adultery. Because back then they had more than one wives.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
That's true, yeah.
Okay, that satisfies me.
Not me.
Is it good? Maybe not.
I don't know. I don't think
But-
it's
Not
good.
good.
No, it's not.
You got penalized for it.
Yeah,
Well-
true.
The whole world's been penalized.
Yes.
True. I don't know that there's a command against it though.
At
No.
the, at the time.
Even later.
The father
Even
blessed it.
later.
in
yeah,
The father
Deuteronomy.
blessed it, made him nation. So the father blessed it, made him nation. So that's good enough for me.
Mm-hmm, true, that's a good
My
point.
mom wants to speak.
You have to raise your hand.
She did. She was waiting.
I've heard the theory that Ishmael is like the lineage of culture. Is that
Yes.
Yeah.
It
A
is.
wild man. He's
It
a
is.
wild man.
Him. And it is that today.
I was curious.
As a matter of fact, later on, you had Jacob and Esau. And Esau marries one of the daughters of Ishmael. And so they're intermixed. But, yeah.
It's a mess.
The patience and rushing the plan along. There's just a little, like macrame thing that whatever of the don't, and I heard it a long, long time ago, but don't make an Ishmael when you're waiting on an Isaac.
Oh,
So,
I
again,
like
just
that.
Put it in your brain.
That is good.
Be patient and wait. Don't make an Ishmael when you're waiting on an Isaac.
I like that.
And in the word where every woman is barren, and then the father ends up giving a child, that child is great.
Mm-hmm.
Even like Hannah and Samuel, and I see women that have prayed to the Father and was given a child late in life, and that child raised up. They might not be in the Father's will, but they are exceeding in life, and I think it's stuff like that. Anybody else in 16? All right, 17. And it came to be when Abram was 99 years old that Yahweh appeared to Abram and said to him, I am El Shaddai. Walk before me and be perfect. And I give my covenant between me and you and shall greatly increase you. And Abram fell on his face, and Almighty Sovereign spoke to him, saying, As for me, look, my covenant is with you, and you shall become a father of many nations. And no longer is your name Abram, but your name shall be called Abraham, because I shall make you a father of many nations. And I shall make you bear fruit exceedingly, and make nations of you, and sovereigns shall come from you. And I shall establish my covenant between me and you and your seed after you in the generations for an everlasting covenant to be Almighty Sovereign to you and your seed after you. And I shall give you and your seed after you the land of your sojournings, all the land of Canaan, as an everlasting possession, and I shall be their Almighty Sovereign. And Almighty Sovereign said to Abram, as for you, guard my covenant, you and your seed after you, throughout their generations. This is my covenant which you guard between me and you, and your seed after you. Every male child among you is to be circumcised, and you shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall become a sign and a covenant between me and you. And a son of 8 days is circumcised by you, every male child in your generations. He who is born in your house or brought with silver from any foreigner who is not of your seed. He who is born in your house and he who is brought with your silver has to be circumcised. So shall my covenant be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And an uncircumcised male child who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, his life shall be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. And Almighty Sovereign said to Abraham, as for Sarai, your wife, you shall call her name Sarai. You shall not call her name Sarai, for Sarah is her name. And I shall bless her and give you a son by her, and I shall bless her, and she shall become nations, sovereigns of people are to be from her. And Abraham fell on his face and laughed, and said in his heart, is a child born to a man who is 100 years old? Or is Sarah, who is 90 years old, to bear a child? And Abram said to Almighty Sovereign, oh, let Ishmael live before you. And Almighty Sovereign said, no, Sarah, your wife, is truly bearing you a son, and you shall call his name Isaac. And I shall establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and his seed after him. As for Ishmael, I have heard you. See, I shall bless him, and shall make him bear fruit, and greatly increase him. He is to bring forth 12 princes, and I shall make him a great nation. But my covenant I establish with Isaac, whom Sarai is to bear to you at this appointed time next year. And when he had ended speaking with him, Almighty Sovereign went up from Abraham, and Abraham took Ishmael, his son, and all those born in his house, and all those bought with his silver, and every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin that same day, as Almighty Sovereign told him. And Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, and Ishmael, the son of was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. Abraham and his son Ishmael were circumcised that same day, and all the men of the house born in the house or bought with silver from a foreigner were circumcised with him. So here we know that Ishmael is the son of flesh. He was conceived by flesh. The ideal, everything was fleshly about his conception. Where Isaac's conception was spiritual. Everything about it was spiritual. And that's why we have the child of the flesh, we have the spiritual child.
Child of promise.
Yes, the child of promise, the spiritual. Anybody else? 17. So at this point, Abraham's name has been changed to Abraham. Abram's name changed to Abraham, and Sarai is no longer Sarai, but Sarah. You know, and the Father changes your name when I don't know, because He wants your name reflect what your life will be. And I think that's important to pray to the Father what you should name your children.
Oh, yes.
And what they say. You don't want to pronounce a curse on them out the gate.
Right. So true. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I agree. I was about to say that too. You need to be very careful what you name your children.
Yes.
I was just seeing how, just on this one page, I don't even have to turn the page, the covenants,
Oh, yeah.
in chapter 15, we have in verse 18, on the same day, Yahweh made a covenant with Abraham, saying, I have given you given this land to your seed from the river Mitzrayim to the great river, the river Euphrates. So that's one. And then, then you have, in chapter 7, this one. In chapter 17, I shall establish my covenant between me and you and your seed after you in your generation, for an everlasting covenant to be almighty sovereign to you and your seed after you. And then the circumcision, this is my covenant which you guard between me and you and your seed after you. This is verse 10. Every male among you is to be circumcised, and you shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin. It shall become a sign of the covenant between me and you, and a son of 8 days is circumcised. By you, every male in your generations, he is born in your house, or bought with silver from any foreigner who is not of your seed. And then, actually, I was able to do that with one of my sons on the 8th day, and I was so nervous. I was like, I gotta find a doctor that's gonna do this, and so it's just awesome to see that we can actually how we do these things today. And then there's one more, and that is in verse 19, and I shall, and the Almighty Sovereign said, or Yahweh said, no, Sarah, your wife is truly bearing a son to you, and you shall call his name Yitzhak, and I shall establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. A lot of covenants there.
I think when we read about the circumcision and the 8th day, that it's awesome to see that science now today upholding the maybe not upholding, but putting scientific backing when we're like, just follow the Father and you know that it's the right way. But then they now have discovered that vitamin K, which is your blood clotting vitamin, is highest in your entire life on your 8th day. So for these boys that are being circumcised, their blood clotting ability is the highest as it'll ever be in any day of their life on exactly that day, which is really awesome. And then just recently I've been having more come up about the vitamin K because it's one of those that they want to give to newborns. And that was the one thing that we allowed for the girls to have. But then seeing that there's reasonings behind not giving that even, and again, every person to weigh that decision, but that the stem cells still, when you don't have the vitamin K, like why it's low in those first 7 days is because then it allows whatever stem cells still coming through the cord and all of that to go through the whole body and to make repairs where they're needed. And the vitamin K goes in and prohibits that, like it puts up clots, and so it's a barrier for what your body has been created to do. And so, like, I'm looking back now, maybe wishing we hadn't done that. Not that my girls are healthy, thankfully, but just that the Father has designed. And so in that 7 days, it's low because he's doing that first flush of healing right after a baby is born. And then it's highest on the 8th day when the skin is to be cut and clotted and, and healed well. And then they go on. But just that it's neat. And then just, I don't know, to see science, they don't even go in to say, wow, how awesome that we're coming into agreement with the word, but at least they're like, we can see, oh, there's, not that we have to have the know-how, we just follow the Father because he says it, but when stuff comes up, it's cool to see, oh, wow, he knew and we didn't, and
True. Thank you for sharing
following
that.
him in that.
Yes.
Hallelujah to the Father.
Yes. Hallelujah to the Father. Yes.
Creator of wisdom.
Yeah.
Yes. Just obey.
Yep, science confirms the Father over and over again.
That's the right
Yes.
place.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
All right, 1 Samuel 40.
Didn't know where that was.
Is that Isaiah or 1 Samuel?
Oh, it is Isaiah.
It is Isaiah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's it.
Good catch. I went to first Samuel. I was like, there aren't 40 chapters.
Isaiah 40. Hello. Isaiah 40. 27. Why do you say, O Yaakov, and speak, O Israel? My way is concealed from Yahweh, and my rights are overlooked by the Almighty Sovereign. Did you not know, have you not heard, the everlasting Almighty Sovereign Yahweh, the creator of the ends of the earth, neither faints nor is weary. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the faint, and to those who have no might, he increases strength. Even youths shall faint and be weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who wait on Yahweh renew their strength. They raise up the wing of like eagles. They run and are not weary. They walk and do not faint. Chapter 41. Be silent before me, you coastlands, and let peoples renew their power. Let them come near and let them speak. Let us come together for right ruling. Who raised up the righteous one from the east, called him to his foot, gave the nations before him, and made sovereigns submit to him. He gave to them as a dust to his sword, as driven stubble to his bow. He pursued them, passed over in safety by a path that he had not gone with his feet. Who has performed and done it, calling the generations from the beginning? I, Yahweh, am the first, and with the last I am he. Coastlands see it and fear. The ends of the earth are afraid. They draw near and come. Everyone helps his neighbor and says to his brother, be strong. And the craftsman strengthens the goldsmith. He who smooths with the hammer inspires him who strikes the anvil, saying of the joining, it is good. And he strengthens it with nails, so that it does not totter. But you, Israel, are my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the descendants of Abraham who loved me, whom I have strengthened from the ends of the earth and called from its farthest parts, and said to you, you are my servant, I have chosen you and have not rejected you. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not look around, for I am your almighty sovereign. I shall fortify you. I shall also help you. I shall also uphold you with the right hand of my righteousness. See, all those who raged against you are ashamed and blush. They are as non-existent, and the men who strive with you perish. You seek them, but do not find them. Those who struggle with you, those who fight you are not as non-existent as not. For I, Yahweh, your king, am strengthening your right hand, saying to you, do not fear, I shall help you. Do not fear, you worm of Jacob, you men of Israel, I shall help you, declares Yahweh, and your Redeemer, the set-apart one of Israel. See, I shall make you into a new threshing sledge with sharp teeth. Let you thresh mountains and beat them small and make hills like chaff. You winnow them, the wind lifts them up, and the whirlwind scatters them. But you rejoice in Yahweh and boast in the set apart one of Israel.
Hallelujah.
Haley has.
Does everyone else think that the righteous right hand is Yeshua? Because every time I've read that through the Old Testament, I think it's Yeshua.
I think he's there in the whole.
Yeah. But it's interesting on verse 14. Do not fear, you worm, Jacob, you men of Israel. I shall help you, declares Yahweh, and your Redeemer, the set apart one of Israel.
Yeah, the right hand of the Father. At this point, it's a shadow picture to the Son, I think.
Yes,
Also,
I agree.
because he's at the right hand, and he's seated at the right hand of the Father right now.
Yes, I agree.
Any more comments on Isaiah?
You want to say one? With those verses, do not fear, for I am with you. That's I remember I was looking on Facebook. I was when I was on Facebook quite a while back, but anyways, just I don't know. I must have had some kind of problem going on in my life, and I was looking for some answer. Scrolling through and just not even realizing I was looking for an answer or maybe some solidification or something. But anyways, the Father gave me this verse. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not look around. So don't look around. Don't look around over here. I am your almighty sovereign. I shall fortify you. I shall also help you. I shall also uphold you with the right hand of my righteousness.
We gotta keep our eyes upon him
Yes.
and only him. When you go looking to the left or to the right, that's when you get in trouble.
And I do like this prayer. I do like this prayer that Pastor prays quite often. That we don't look to the right or to the left, that we don't falter, that we don't fail, but that we keep our focus on him. I thought, what a great prayer.
Yes.
When you're walking on water and you take your eyes off of him, you start to sink.
True.
Yep.
Very true.
Since we're near, this is one of my favorite passages in Isaiah. It's Isaiah 43:12. I have declared and saved and made known, and there is no strange mighty one among you. And you are my witnesses, declares Yahweh, that I am. Yeah. And I just love that because that's what we are. We're his witnesses, that he's real, that he's, so we gotta be that light, share it with people.
Yes, indeed.
We're his witnesses.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, and we're here for Him. We're here to glorify Him in the Son. That's what we're here for.
Right.
Nothing else.
Right.
You just got to keep that in check.
Always keep the heart in check.
As declared in Scripture.
All right, let's move on to Romans 4,
Romans
1 through
4.
25. Go ahead.
What then shall we say? Abraham our father, to have found according to the flesh. For if Abraham was declared right by works, he has ground for boasting, but not before Yahweh. For what does the scripture say? Abraham believed Yahweh, and it was reckoned to him for righteousness. And to him who is working, the reward is not reckoned as a favor, but as a debt. And to him who is not working, but believes on him who is declared right, the wicked, his belief is reckoned for righteousness. Even as David also says of the blessedness of the man to whom Yahweh reckons righteousness without works. Blessed are those whose lawlessnesses are forgiven and whose sins are covered. Blessed is the man to whom Yahweh shall by no means reckon sin. Is this blessing then upon the circumcised only, or also upon the uncircumcised? For we affirm, belief was reckoned unto Abraham for righteousness. How then was it reckoned? Being in circumcision or in uncircumcision? Not in circumcision, but in uncircumcision. And he received the sign of circumcision, a seal of the righteousness of the belief, while in uncircumcision. For to him to be a father of all those believing through uncircumcision, for righteousness to be reckoned to them also, and the father of circumcision to those who not only are of the circumcision, but who also walk in the steps of the belief which our father Abraham had in uncircumcision. For the promise that he should be the heir of the world was not to Abraham or to his seed through the Torah, but through a righteousness of belief. For if those who are of the Torah are heirs, belief has been made useless, and the promise has been nullified. For the Torah works out wrath, for where there is no Torah, there is no transgression. On account of this, it is of belief that it be according to favor, for the promise to be made certain to all the seed, not only to those who are of the Torah, but also to those who are of belief of Abraham, who is father of us all. As it has been written, I have made you a father of many nations, in the presence of him whom he believed, even Yahweh, who gives life to the dead and calls that which does not exist as existing, who against all exception did believe in expectation, so that he should become father of many nations, according to what was said, so shall your seed be. And not having grown weak in belief, he did not consider his own body already dead, being about 100 years old, and the deadness of Sarah's womb. He did not hesitate about the promise of Yahweh through unbelief, but was strengthened in belief, giving esteem to Yahweh, and being completely persuaded that what he had promised he was able to do. Therefore also it was reckoned to him for righteousness. And not because of him alone was it written that it was reckoned to him, but also because of us, to whom it shall be reckoned, to us who believe in him, who raised up Yahshua, our master, from the dead, who was delivered up because of our trespasses, and was raised for us to be declared right.
I like verse 15. For the Torah works out wrath, for where there is no Torah, there is no transgression. A lot of people think that the Torah applies only to those who are not in Yeshua, but and there are people who believe that you literally, like, your sins don't matter in Yeshua. Like
Oh yeah.
like he you can sin pretty much.
Right.
Like sin doesn't exist.
Right.
But
right.
it does.
Right.
It does exist.
Mhm.
Even after you come into Yeshua, I mean, we're
Right.
supposed to walk after the Spirit and not the flesh.
Mhm.
So that's just, I mean, I see that it's just one more thing that the Torah is not done away with.
Yeah, I agree. If there was no Torah, then there'd be no sin.
Yep. And there's
Yeah, sin is transgression of the law, so that's a good point.
About the circumcision now, it's kind of confusing to me because now if you're Israel, you still need to be circumcised, right? To the covenant. And if you're not circumcised, you still have salvation through the Gentiles, the Greek that are not Israel. Is that right?
Well, I feel like the thing of circumcision still needs to be done, but now we need to be circumcised in the heart.
Right.
Because because the circumcision of the flesh is flesh, and it's not your choice. Circumcision of your heart, it's your choice to give your heart to the Father and be circumcised of heart.
But we also have grace involved here.
Yes, we do have grace, but that their grace follows that their if, like the covenant, you are brought into the covenant if you follow this or if you do that. So I think grace is also a if point.
Which is also what?
An if point.
If you are following after the Father, you're not sinning every chance you can get. It's if you are walking in covenant, then grace applies to your life.
Yeah, if you're in sin, you don't have grace.
You're in rebellion.
Go and sin no more.
Right, true.
You have to overcome sin to get into the kingdom.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, Rachel.
There's only one thing. Well, actually, it does too. But we can come to the Father through Yeshua HaMashiach for salvation.
That's the only unconditional.
That's the only thing you can do, but it still has a condition. You got to turn to Him.
But after that, it's conditional.
Once you make the choice, that's when you got to convert.
Yes,
Right.
then every decision after that is conditional. Every covenant, everything you do in your life is on condition how you are walking with the Father.
Yeah, there's no backsliding after that point. That's how you reach righteousness. Also, is to stay forward, stay in the positive.
Right.
First in Genesis 17:1, cometh me and walk blameless. Amen.
Did you have something?
Verse
Do you
4.
want to go first? Did you finish that up?
I was just going to say, verse 19, 4:19, and not having grown weak in belief, he did not consider his own body already dead, being about 100 years old, and the deadness of Sarah's womb. I just want to say, you're not dead till you're dead.
Mostly dead.
I don't, when you are old and you're all, you think your life is over. It's not over till the Father says it's over.
Yes, that's true. Hallelujah.
They were just saying she was in the women age, after the womanly age. So that would be deadness of womb, physical.
True. So Carla's talking about Sarah's womb being dead. That she was past so she was past the point. She was no longer
The typical.
a procreating in the procreating stage of her life.
According to
Yeah.
the word.
Right.
Correct, right. I mean, she'd gone past that. She was like equivalent in our time to 60s, 70s, you know, where
Well,
you have
yeah.
gone past the procreation womb, but the father still did it. I was going to bring in with the Romans, and Paul's speaking here. A lot of times it's taken, and I think with some other books as well, some of his letters, I mean, that circumcision, it doesn't apply anymore. Is a lot of that understanding, or it would only apply to bloodline, physical, Jewish people or Israeli people. But I very much don't think that's what he's saying. So with the grafting in, anyone who is coming and being a sojourner, and even says when it talks about Passover, you know, anyone that is a sojourner to keep Passover has to be physically circumcised. And so that's not just talking about bloodline Israel, it's those that are also coming from other nations and desiring to be Yah's people. They say, I want to be part of Israel. I want to be a grafted in Israelite, and it happened back then. And then they could partake in certain things that was only specific, like Passover is one of the really specific ones about being physically circumcised. But in Paul's time, in Yeshua's time, and there in, you know, post his resurrection and when Paul and the others are writing, there is a religious teaching of the Pharisees and other religious leaders that you are saved through circumcision. Or you cannot have salvation if you're like, or it's the precursor to being saved. And so Paul and multiple of his letters, and maybe some of the other writers, multiple times come against that teaching.
Right.
So that's a lot of this is like the circumcision party that we're saying you can't be saved if you don't circumcise, or if you're not circumcised, you can't be saved, or like it's the precursor, and then you have the opportunity, kind of in that sense. And so he's speaking against that. We see, and so then again, kind of the traditional taught is that, or traditional Christianity taught, you know, we're not circumcised of flesh anymore, or that's not needed. It's okay if you do it. It's not necessary, because we're circumcised of the heart now. But Deuteronomy is already talking about circumcision of the heart. So it says twice in Deuteronomy, in 10:16 and in 36. 10:16 says, circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. And then in 36, it says 30 verse 6. And Yahuwah thy Elohim will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed, to love Yahuwah thy Elohim with all thine heart and with all thy soul, and that they mayest live. So it's always been flesh and heart. Flesh and heart, flesh and heart. So I think that's just one thing. Again, it's just been taught falsely in the Christian church.
What verses were that again?
Yeah, that's the reason I stayed saying that you still have salvation if you're not circumcised. That's the non-Israelite people. They're still they still could have salvation.
Yes. I think it's still a command we need to do.
Right.
And
I think it's really important for Israel to do that. But because of grace, we have that too.
Yeah. So it's Deuteronomy 10:16.
And
Tom wants to talk.
Oh, okay.
Deuteronomy 30, verse 6.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to speak about. I want to talk about what Craig said that Yah chooses when you die. Like RC, for example, he has been a pastor for over 50 years and he's 84. And he's still going strong.
yes, I agree.
And it does say he will prolong your years. If you are following him. Just wanted to add I just wanted to add to the note of walking blamelessly, that we could never walk blamelessly on our own. It is through the Holy Ruach and it is through Yeshua living in us that we can walk blamelessly. And so I just wanted to add, if there are people that are struggling with sin, that if you seek righteousness and if you seek his help, he will cleanse you of all unrighteousness.
Hallelujah.
Yes. And yield to him. Because Yeshua even said in Matthew, he said, be ye perfect even as my heavenly Father is perfect. So this is not a new command even. A tall order, but with Yeshua we can do it. If we yield to him. Also, I know, when we were talking about the circumcision, so like the Jewish people trusted in circumcision that they were righteous. And the Christian church has done the same thing. Like, we can go forward and get saved and shake the preacher's hand and say we believe in Jesus and we're on our way. And neither is right. There's much more to it than that. Living a life for him in covenant.
Gotta go deeper.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. No. That's right. It's not easy, but we
It's
can
a
do it.
challenge and it's an honor.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
Challenge. You need to get these on. It's a challenge. It's an honor. Yes.
Anybody else got anything? All right then. Heavenly Father, we come to you in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Father Yahweh, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your hand upon us, Father Yahweh. Father Yahweh, I ask that your hand remain upon our sins on Sanford
Yes.
and Flora, Father Yahweh, that you continue to lead them, guide them, protect them, bless them.
Yes.
Fill their hearts, their minds, their bodies, their spirits until such a time that you call them home to sleep with the ancestors, Father Yahweh. And Father Yahweh, I ask that your hand be upon each and every one of us, Father Yahweh, leading us, guiding us, protecting us, drawing us to you through Yeshua HaMashiach until that point in time you have for us. And Father Yahweh, I ask that you would be with us as we go back to our homes, Father Yahweh, that you would protect us on the roads, Father Yahweh. Protect us from the other drivers out there, Father Yahweh. That you would lead us and guide us and bring us back next Sabbath, Father Yahweh, that we may converse over your word, that you may lead us and guide us and direct us and show us and open our eyes, our hearts, our minds, our bodies to the things of you, Father Yahweh. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. So be it.
So be it.